Hey guys, this is Tanner Invest here. Appreciate you guys tuning in today. Today's going to be a pretty fun video because there's a short report that's come out on BMNR, Bitmine Emergent Technologies. And why I think it's going to be fun is because I actually haven't read this short report yet. It came out yesterday and I was in the field all day. I'm in tech sales and I'm always outside with customers. So I'm actually going to be reading this for the first time today with you guys live on this video. So before getting into this video, I do know who shorted. It's a company called Kerrisdale Capital, a hedge fund that is notorious for shorting and being public with their shorts, as many other short companies are. But I wanted to go through just a history before we get started, a history of what they've shorted in the past and how those trades have turned out. So, and then I'm going to get into the video itself and I'm going to read the short report and give my raw thoughts on it. Obviously, you guys know I am a little biased in the opposite court. I've actually made over 20 videos on ETHDATs, and BMNR is my number one ETHDAT position. And I actually just came out with a video on Monday on 40 reasons why I think BMNR is going to go up in price personally. Obviously, none of this is financial advice. I could be wrong. They could be right. But history has shown that I don't think this company has done a great job in the past with shorting. And so let's go ahead and hop in to their previous shorts and we can see how those have turned out. And then we're going to circle back around to Kerrisdale Capital's recent tweet or their X post regarding the short. So let's start with CoreWeave. And you can see I actually typed up here the date that they, in each of these Robinhood, I just have it on Robinhood because that's what I use just to look quickly at prices. But in September of 2025, we can see they decided to short CoreWeave right here in the September dip of CoreWeave. And look what's happened since. It's gone from $90 to 140. IonQ, which we know is in quantum computing, in March 2025, man, this one hurts. It was trading at about $20 to $25 a share. And now we can take a look and it's trading $75 a share. So we've seen a nice little 3x there. Riot Platforms, so a Bitcoin mining company, they decided to short them in June 2024. So we can take a look at June of 2024 and then roll out a little bit more. But let's just say somewhere around here, around $9 to $10 a share. Riot Platforms is now trading at $21 a share. So it's doubled. Carvana, initiated in 2023 and then reiterated in 2024. So you can see in June of 2023, it was trading about 20 to 25 bucks a share. And then in February 2024, we can see it actually was trading at about $40, and they reiterated after they were already down on that short. And look at what's happened to Carvana since. Wow, that is probably the worst one of them all. And then Oklo, which we know is a company that's helping with data centers to get nuclear energy directly to individual data centers. Their stock has gone through the freaking roof this year. And look when they shorted them back in November of 2024. Wow, this one hurts too. We can see November of 2024, you're at $18, $20 a share, and it's trading now at $138. Joby, which is an air taxi company that's just gone ballistic this year as well, up 200%. They were shorting them back in 2023 in October. We can see October 2023 trading between $6 and $7 a share, call it somewhere around that ballpark. Now trading at $17. It's almost 3x. Red Cat, which is a drone company. They are up 340% year to date. January of 2025, so we can just go to year to date and see in January, they were trading at $12. Now they're trading at $15. So year to date, sorry, they're up about 18%, but so far not looking so good for this one as well. And notoriously, they shorted MicroStrategy because in the post, I believe they talk about not liking digital asset treasuries, which and they have a history of shorting digital asset treasuries, so we'll get into that in a second. But MicroStrategy, as you can see, March of 2024. So March of 2024, oof, trading at somewhere between $100 and $140 a share. There was a big spike, and that's likely when they shorted them. It was after that spike. But we see here what's happened with that story. So they have not a very successful track record. There are a couple of ones like C3 AI that's kind of gone flat since they shorted them, and a couple small other ones that they've maybe made a decent trade on. Some of the biotech stuff like Tilray Brands, but a lot of these big names, these hype momentum stocks from the beloved X-loved stocks, they have not done well on. So let's go ahead and get into the short report here. All right, so first time reading it here. We are short BMNR. The report is linked here. The digital asset treasury playbook has become basic and unoriginal as near identical copycats overwhelm the market. Premiums are collapsing, and the ability to issue shares well above NAV to boost ETH per share is disappearing. RIP DATs. So they're just saying all DATs, I guess, are just going to be no more. Okay. So the copycat, we can talk about this real quick. The near identical copycats, I mean, that is happening pretty frequently. There's a lot of DATs coming out of the woodwork, but we know, seeing MicroStrategy as an example, there's always one that has traded above the rest, and their MNAV premiums have been incredible throughout the years. And right now, I think there has been some declining MNAV with strategy. I mean, we can go ahead and look at their, when BMNR came out and SBET started kind of popping off, the MNAV of MSTR was at 1.7, and they're now at 1.38. Now, part of this is because they've issued a lot of debt instruments that people aren't like loving right now. But the issue is Michael Saylor doesn't care. He thinks Bitcoin is going to go ballistic and go up to $1 million, $2 million, per coin. So what is he trying to do? If you have that much conviction in something, you're going to do whatever it takes. You're going to raise as much capital as it takes. You're going to buy more of the asset. If I tell you right now that next year bricks are going to go through the roof, there's going to be no more bricks. What are you going to do? You're going to go out and find as many bricks as you can. You're going to hoard the heck out of them. I mean, that's probably a pretty bad example, but you're going to do that because you're going to think the price of that asset is going to go up. And so you're going to take out loans. If you think it's going to go up 100%, 200%, just like margin traders, they're going to do what it takes. They're going to raise debt. They're going to do things to get their hands on the asset that's going away and getting more scarce. And that's what digital asset treasury companies are doing. They just have a vehicle, which is the public markets, and ways that they can raise capital more efficiently than you or I can by going to a bank to pull out to be able to raise debt. So let's read the second post here. Competition is exploding. 100 billion plus in planned capital raises by firms chasing crypto treasury strategies has removed the scarcity that kept premiums high. Now many trade at or below parity as their reflexive loops stall and their models crumble. So this is a interesting point. Maybe you want to short some of the smaller DATs that aren't doing well, but what's end up going to happen, and I think it's counterintuitive to BMNR, is BMNR has the ability, and Tom Lee has said in his chairman's message, that they have the ability to acquire digital asset treasuries that are trading under NAV and then would just be more accretive to shareholders for BMNR. So yeah, there might be some DATs that don't trade under NAV or that don't trade at NAV, maybe because they're stuck. They can't raise capital. They're not getting institutions to buy in. They can't, have that MNAV premium is pretty important. Like I've talked about in a lot of my videos, BMNR being above 1, being at 1.4 right now gives them the ability to dilute shareholders to raise more money. While a company like SBET or BTBT, they're kind of stuck doing different options or just sitting still. Like SBET in the last 3 weeks hasn't acquired any Ethereum at all, hasn't done any buybacks, because they don't have money. They can't raise capital unless they go to institutions and potentially do something like BMNR did. But BMNR is the one, like with the convertible notes that they did at $70 a share. The convertible notes is something that maybe SBET can't do because BMNR is more liquid. Institutions want liquidity, and they have the edge right now. They have the higher MNAV premium, so it's easier to sell to an institution saying, hey, invest in us rather than these other DATs. So eventually, I've talked in my videos, I do think there's going to be some consolidation in these DATs. I'm not saying every single DAT is going to do a great job. I do think BMNR might get aggressive and start buying other digital asset treasury companies at some point in time. So I get this point here, but I don't think this affects BMNR. I think this is actually a positive. Number 3, let's read this one. The OG digital asset treasury, MSTR, has seen its premium slide from 2.2 to 2.5 to about 1.4 after unpopular financing and policy reversals broke the spell. If the pioneer with a cult following can't keep the magic alive, no one can. I understand this a bit, but what's happening here, in my opinion, is that Bitcoin is kind of stalled out. I know we did just see all-time highs, but realistically, over the past, let's just look at the Bitcoin chart. We'll go to Bitcoin hasn't really done much over the past couple months. I mean, it's been up, it's been down, it's been sideways. Obviously over the past year, but you know, when 3 months ago or so, when BMNR came out and started kind of taking away some of that hype, I think some investors have kind of repositioned into BMNR that were trading in MicroStrategy. And I do think since it's been trading sideways and the outlook on these debt instruments hasn't been very positive, is the reason why I think their M&M has fallen. But now here's the kicker. What happens if Bitcoin goes up? What happens if Bitcoin goes up tremendously? Goes up to 150K, 175, 200. All of a sudden, MicroStrategy is going to be trading at a much higher premium, I believe, because people know that they have a sovereign put, like Tom Lee has said. They have so much Bitcoin. They're going to be able to then acquire more. And they're going to be a very, very, very valuable company. People are going to want that exposure. And then I think that's going to cause the price of MSTR to go up. So we can already see, you know, that's happened over the past couple weeks here. We're trading under $300 on MSTR. And since Bitcoin has come up, we went from 300 to 350. Now it's trailing back down a bit. I actually think right now, personally, I might be looking at MSTR very soon. 322 a share at this low of MNAV. I think over time we're gonna see a rebalance there. Tom Lee has proven to be an underwhelming meme lord. No cat videos, no speeches to mortgage your house to buy ETH, poor utilization of caps lock, emojis, GIFs, AI slop, too tradfi and boring. Lee pales in comparison to Saylor and Shamath. Guys, this just makes this whole entire, this is funny because this makes this this whole video kind of a meme now. What is this? These short reporters, like, this sounds like a 15-year-old wrote it. Yes, Saylor is a little interesting with some of the stuff he posts in AI and the cats and things like that, but that doesn't mean every single DAT chairman has to do that. Tom Lee has come in, just like he has throughout his history. Tom Lee has proven that he is a fantastic economist. When there's bear markets, he's called for bull markets, and it's happened at the right time. Whenever people were scared during the April lows, he was the only one saying that there would be a V-shaped recovery, and look what happened. He's a very smart guy. And yes, he came from TradFi, but that's where his strengths come into line, because TradFi is what Ethereum is disrupting. So Ethereum itself, if Ethereum disrupts TradFi like BMNR says it will and Tom Lee thinks it will, then what's going to happen to the price of ETH over time? ETH should rise, and then therefore BMNR should rise. So you can't say someone's too TradFi and boring. Tom Lee has gone on CNBC. He's a contributor. Everyone knows Tom Lee. And how is it boring when they're the number 22 most traded stock in the entire market? And they just started 3 months ago. Clearly, that's not boring. Clearly, retail, you and me, other people that are watching these videos and other people on X have put their money into this company. I'm already up over 30% of my position, so I'm very happy with Tom Lee, and I don't think he's boring at all. You put Tom Lee into a thumbnail of a YouTube video, and you see what's happened to my channel. I started with 0 subscribers when these ETH DATs came out, and I'm at over 4,000 subscribers. This isn't boring. People find this exciting, and it's something new, and it's going to change the world, whether you like it or not. I don't care if it's someone that's not as eccentric as Michael Saylor running the program here. So I think this point is stupid. What is this? The 5th or 6th? Let's see. BMNR premium has been sliding lower and lower and will probably continue bleeding until it's NAV or below. The lower it gets, the slower the ETH per share accretion until it collapses below 1. I mean, this just isn't true. We've seen BMNR trade under 1.4. It's actually up to a 1.45 as yesterday. It's actually climbed over the past couple weeks. So this is just not true at all. I just don't see how this is remotely true. You also can see companies like BTBT. I made a video about Bit Digital like a week ago and maybe a week and a half ago, and it was trading at a 0.4. And I said, whoa, this is crazy. This company is actually doing great things. They're the number 4 ETH DAT out there in terms of their holdings. And now they're trading at a 0.8. I've been up like 40% on my position since I made that video. And so I don't see there being a decline in this. SBET's been trading at a 1.0 for months now, or like a month straight, basically. And BMNR is doing great things, acquiring more ETH. If ETH goes up above 5,000, I think is going to be crazy for BMNR. We're going to be seeing prices well into the 60s, high 60s, 70s, even, and potentially the 80s. So, like I said, not financial advice. I'm just giving my opinions. Management changed reporting just as growth stalled. After August 25, it stopped providing NAV per share and share count, key data investors need and have demanded. If per share accretion was improving, they would be marketing it. There's people out there like Risk on Bobby that has literal eat that MNAV updates every single day on these companies. They're very transparent. They say exactly what they've done. So there haven't been a chairman. I have noticed that on BitMine's website, they haven't done their chairman's message, but I'm assuming that it's going to come out soon. So I don't know why he thinks that they're all of a sudden not, but we did see one in July from Tom Lee. We have seen the one in September. We haven't gotten the October message, which talks about September, but Tom Lee's super busy. He's been literally in Singapore and all over the country or all over the world the last couple weeks. So I think we'll be getting that soon, but I don't think that they're going to stop being transparent. Management changed reporting just as growth stalled. I don't think this is true. Kerrisdale Capital says last month's accretive $365 million direct deal at a headline $70 wasn't what it seems. Once you value the attached warrants, it was effectively a discounted cash trap. Yeah, I mean, this is true. This is true, and the fact that the deal wasn't as good as it says it is from the headline. Because eventually, if the value goes over and the attached warrants get exercised, it actually is a little non-accretive after a certain point. But the point is that right now you get money to dilute at a future date. So Tom Lee, if you're very convinced, like I said at the beginning of my video, if you have high conviction for this stock and for ETH, you're going to do what it takes to raise money now to buy at a discount. If you think something's going up, you would spend money to make money. You would do that now, right? And so that's what Tom Lee thinks. So, their strategist for BMNR thinks, or for Fundstrat, sorry, thinks that the price of Ethereum will be 6,000 to 8,000, I believe, and Tom Lee has said he could see it being even higher than that by end of year. So if time's ticking right now. We have October, November, and December left. There's 3 months left till the end of the year. And so if you're convinced that it's going to have a big pump, then you probably want to buy it now. And then DATs are just pretty dumb. Wow. This is a short report? Short reports are crazy sometimes. DATs are just pretty dumb. In what world can rando after rando launch shell after shell to issue equity endlessly to accumulate the same liquid tradable asset without all the shells trading down and discount their NAVs? Okay, so, well, first off, Tom Lee's not a rando. Joseph Lubin's not a rando. There are some people that kind of have come out that no one really knew prior. And like I said, those ones aren't trading above NAV. Now, the whole point of this digital asset treasury company is that you're expecting your ETH per share to accrete over time, to be accretive, to go up in value. So if you put in money today, and in a year from now, that company is working tirelessly to increase the amount of Ethereum that you hold per share, then it should, over time, potentially be more than just holding the underlying asset. That's the whole point, because they're going to be buying a lot of ETH. They're going to be diluting shareholders, raising money, buying more ETH, buying more ETH, buying more ETH. So when you buy a price today at 1.4x MNAV, you're paying a premium to the underlying asset to say, hey, go out and give me more. Go out and give me more for my dollar. And that's what we're doing here. And that's what MicroStrategy has proven over time. And what Tom Lee has said in his chairman's message about ExxonMobil and oil, we've seen this over time where companies trade at a premium to their net asset value because that company can go and accrete more than you can just with your everyday dollar, wallet. So I'm going to keep trusting the DATs. Obviously, you guys know I've talked a lot about that point. But DATs, I don't think are dumb. I think when there are a ton of DATs, like hundreds, I think it's kind of gotten out of control. I do agree with that point. But why would you go and short the number one DAT? There are other assets you can short out there, the ones that aren't going to do as well as BMNR is. I feel like this is kind of clickbaity. Not going to lie. And they've clearly had some clickbaity ones in the past. CoreWeave, IonQ, Riot, Carvana, Oklo, Joby. These are all like retail focused X, very highly posted on X. So it seems like these guys just potentially are trying to do it for clicks, to be honest. We're not shorted ETH. If you want ETH, just go buy ETH. It has never been easier. BMNR's whole pitch is to get investors to overpay for copying a playbook that no longer works. No strategy, no scarcity, no reason the company deserves a premium. I mean, that's just not true. They're going to be staking the underlying asset. They're going to be earning a yield on it. When you have a ton, you can earn a ton of yield. You can give that back to shareholders potentially in dividends in the future. They can do very accretive things as shareholders, like we saw with potentially buying new DATs, diluting at the right time, taking advantage of the volatility. You know, there's all these reasons why we've talked about BMNR being successful over time. Now, in the comments here, there was a lot of stuff just talking about this guy's, the CEO or the CIO of Kerrisdale and his past. I don't think this is cool, guys. We shouldn't be like, what does this have to do with anything? But I do think, like, looking at their track history and what they've shorted, I mean, man, it almost makes me want to buy anything they short because everything they've shorted has gone up. So that's kind of my thought on it. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was intriguing, at least. I hope my live reaction was okay. And let me know what your thoughts, if you agree with me or not. So see you guys later.